from the Holy Gospel according to John. As Jesus passed by, a blind man from birth, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva and smeared the clay on his eyes and said to him, "Go and wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he went and washed and came back able to see. His neighbors and those who had seen him earlier as a beggar said, "Isn't this the one who used to sit and beg?" Someone said, "It is." But others said, "No, he just looks like him." He said, "I am." They brought the one who was blind to the Pharisees. Now Jesus made clay and opened the eyes on a Sabbath. So when the Pharisees asked him how he's able to see, he said to them, "He put clay on my eyes and washed, and now I can see." So some of the Pharisees said, "This is a man not from God, because he does not keep the Sabbath." But others said, "How can a sinful man do such deeds?" And there was a division among them. So they said to the blind man again, "What do you have to say about him, since he opened your eyes?" He said, "He is a prophet." They answered and said to him, "You were born totally in sin, and you are trying to teach us?" And then they threw him out. When Jesus heard that they had thrown him out, he found him and said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" He answered and said, "Who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" Jesus said to him, "You have seen him, and the one who is speaking to you is he." He said, "I do believe, Lord," and he worshipped him. The Gospel of the Lord. This is somewhat of a unique experience because normally I'd be giving this homily in front of a whole group of people. But of course, we've suspended masses. But Stephen and I thought it's very important at least we get the message out of what you would have heard. Now there's two advantages in doing that. The first advantage is if you really like it, you can play it over and over. If you really don't like it, you can just stop it and delete it. So, anyway, this is Gaudete Sunday. So, September the 11th, 2001. Well, I was in New York City at that time, and we were preparing for a trade show. In fact, the night before, we had set up our booth at the Javits Center. And we were kind of getting excited about Tuesday morning. Well, when I woke up and was getting ready, my colleague called me and said, "Have you watched TV?" I said, "No, I normally don't watch TV in the morning." He said, "Well, you've got to turn it on." And I did, of course. And I saw everything that was going on. Of course, the one tower was burning, and then we watched the plane come into the second tower. Now, I think in some cases, we didn't know what was going on. It was very fearful. In fact, we were in the lobby of the hotel, and the hotel, Marriott Marquis, said, "You can't leave the hotel. Everybody is on lockdown. You may not leave the hotel. You can't come in, or you can't go out at all." So we were kind of wondering, what in the world are we going to do? You know, we had fear. We had fear. In fact, I might suggest even that our fear of what we could do or what we were supposed to do kind of blinded us. And when you read today's readings, you really read about blindness. In the first reading from Samuel, Samuel's looking for the next king of Israel. And he couldn't quite find who he was. He was sent to Jesse's house, and Jesse had many sons. But he couldn't see who would be the best person for the king. However, God pointed it out to him. God set his eyes upon David, who at that time really was not really part of the ideas that Jesse had seen. So Samuel then relied on God to be his eyes. Samuel's human eyes wouldn't work, but God created his eyes. Now in our second reading from Paul's letter to the Ephesians, he points out that we were once blind and we couldn't see, but now we can see, only because we can see through the faith in Jesus Christ. And that's what Paul expresses very clearly to the Ephesians, that maybe they were blind, but now they could see because of the love and sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Now in today's gospel, it's a very familiar story we've all heard many, many times about the blind man. But I think what's important is that very last paragraph in the gospel, where Jesus confronts the blind man and says, "Do you believe that I'm the Son of God and believe that I could heal you?" And this blind man answers, "I believe." Now, there wasn't some kind of medical miracle that Jesus performed. There was nothing medically that he responded to. However, his faith allowed him to see. His faith allowed him to open his eyes and see. I would offer you that today in our world, we're in a little bit of a crisis. Not a little bit, maybe a lot of a crisis. We don't know what's going on. Everybody is very much afraid of what's going to happen. We don't know. We have no idea. We have no idea if we'll get sick. We have no idea if our friends will get sick. We're kind of isolated from our friends. We're not allowed to be in groups of more than 10. We can't go to our restaurants. We can't go to anything else that we used to go to. Concerts have been canceled. So everything is put on hold. And we can be very much afraid. In fact, fear can keep us from doing the things we should do. Fear will cause us to be blind. Now, just as the blind man was made whole by his faith in Christ, so we can be made whole by our faith in Christ. In these turbulent times, let's remember that the one thing that we have is faith in Christ. And if we have faith in Christ, he will open our eyes to see very many other opportunities. I would point out perhaps an opportunity that if you can't come to Mass because Masses have been postponed and canceled, maybe you can take time to pray. Maybe you can take time to read some of the gospel reflections. There are so many things with our open eyes that we can do that we really don't have to worry. Now, eventually, of course, this will pass and we'll be whole again. But I always go back to 9/11. We were afraid for several days of what's going to happen. But our love and respect and our deity of Christ allowed us to have our eyes open so we could see what was going to happen. And of course, the physical things faded away. I would offer you in this time of turbulence, these things will fade away. But let's pray to Jesus and Christ that he can open our eyes to see all the opportunities we have in this world. Stay safe and God bless.